Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 535. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley,
What's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Brian Manjoma,
What up, what up?
and joining us once again, the mighty one, the only one, not Riku-san one, Mr. Brett Murdoch.
What up, party people? I'm up from my Odin sleep.
There you are, man. Awesome. Yeah, when I got that text, you made my fucking day, bro. Like I'm returning. I've awakened from the Odin sleep. I'm returning tonight.
I'm ready to do this. I'm not at 100%, but goddamn it, I'm here. I finally figured out where the fuck I am, and now I'm here. It took me a month, man. So, okay, for those of y'all that don't know, I was scheduled to be on a throwdown, and I had to go. Like, I think this was 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Time means nothing to me.
It was
I
longer
think
than
it's been
that, Brett.
Throwdown.
Believe it or not, it's been longer than that. Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I swear it was like 4 weeks. But like, I was set to come on the podcast, and I had to text Tony. I was like, "Yo, bro, I gotta go into the hospital. I think they're gonna do emergency surgery on me." Because I had called him, and I was like, "I'm feeling like a pain, shooting on my leg, feeling like something's kicking me in the balls, not feeling good." And they're like, "You need to come in now." So yeah, it turns out one of my discs blew, and I had to have 2 more surgeries.
Jesus.
This time they went in through the back, and I was way longer heal time. So I've been on so many drugs, and I've come out of hibernation to see all the insane shit that has happened, and now I'm here to answer your questions. So, hello everybody, I love you. I've missed you all so much. I've missed yelling at the internet. The dogs are just not the same. So it's good to see y'all.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna get off video now, so you don't have to pay attention. I'm a voice of the cloud again, but I just wanted y'all to see my pretty face for a minute.
There you go, man. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yes, Carlos has a sound mixer thing now, Brett. So be prepared for maybe to hear yourself as well. You know.
Okay.
So it should be interesting. All right. So yeah,
Brett,
go ahead.
I heard you like video games.
Big fucking deal.
I do like video games.
So Brett,
that's amazing.
You've still been with us this entire time in that way.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. I love that so much.
Oh man.
You know?
Yeah, that's me. By the way, hit him with the torrents real quick, Carlos.
Oh, I'll start with this one first.
Batman, motherfucker.
That's fucking bullshit.
There you go. You will be hearing that a lot. All right, so yeah, Brett, we got a lot of questions for you. But before we get to those, let's get some warm-up questions here, which will kind of slightly lead into some of the questions we got for you. Got a couple questions. By the way, since we get a lot of questions, I'm just, let the rails off, bunch of questions from different people. Anyway, no two-question limit, I should say. All right, so from Dio, first up, what games do you want to see in a Metal Gear Solid 2 collection or Metal Gear Collection 2? And while, Manny, you start answering, I'm going to look up what's in the first one.
The first one is Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear 1 and 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and none of the portable games.
Okay, so what do you want to see in the second collection?
All the ones that are left over. That would be
4. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 4, which is a big one, which doesn't really have any releases anywhere. Metal Gear Solid 5, the Ground Zeroes, and Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain. And for here's what people have been saying, like there might even be a 3 because there's so many. Because you could go.
You named so many that I think it should be 3. Like
because you could. So, but here's the thing. You would have to think of what would the showcase would be. So I would say if we were to make another one of these things, it would be Metal Gear Ghost Babel. This would be the two. Metal Gear Ghost Babel, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. That would be the showcase on that one, and that
Peace
would be
Walker,
all
yeah.
that would be all of the portable games.
Yeah.
You could even throw stupid Metal Gear the two stupid Metal Gear Acid games.
Go ahead.
There. So you have like 6 games on the second one. Then the next one would be 4 and 5 would be on that one.
That's literally what I was thinking when you were rattling all that off. And the showcase, I think. Go ahead, bro.
Are there any Metal Gear games that shouldn't be included in an official Metal Gear collection?
Ooh.
Oh, we know.
I mean, you could
fucking Snake's Revenge, you know?
Yeah, like they didn't put Snake's Revenge on the first.
Good. Keep that trash out of there.
Or did they?
Oh, let's check.
Or did they?
I'll check.
I can't remember. I don't think they put Snake's Revenge on the first one.
Let me check.
What about Metal Gear Survive?
No, I don't keep that trash out of there.
I mean, they could release Metal Gear Survive on its own if they want, but that game did utterly awful. But then again,
Get that trash out of here.
Exactly, get that trash out of here. Like people have a little bit more. It's weird to say, but people have more nostalgia for the 2 Acid games, which are all utterly different directional games. Like they're
Snake's Revenge is on the first collection.
What was that?
It is on the first collection.
It's on the first. Okay, so what you can do? You know what you can do with the second one, and another one. You put Peace Walker, then you put Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance if you want on that second one. People love that game. I'm not a big fan, but people love that game. So you put that all on 2, and then 3.
Technically, this is a Metal Gear Solid collection. Wasn't that just Metal Gear Revengeance? It wasn't Solid.
Well, I mean, if you want to get technical,
I am getting technical.
The first 3 games shouldn't be on there because those are only Metal Gear games.
That is also true. First 4 games, if you think about it, yeah. All right, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know what? Give people a bone. Give them Revengeance.
You give people a bone. I don't mind. I don't think. I mean, if we're going down the line of celebrating everything that's Metal Gear, even though Kojima in the Ground Zeroes was essentially you delete all the other Metal Gear games and all of his Metal Gear games, but then all the ones that he didn't do are left.
Yeah.
So that was a weird one. But anyway, yeah, like you do that for 2. And then for the third one, you have, 4 and Ground Zeroes and 5.
Yeah.
And if you want to throw stupid fucking Survive in there, you can.
No,
but
no.
What would there be?
No.
What would there? But the thing is that Survive is not a full game.
Yeah, it's not. No, that's the one we don't want on there.
Survive is purely an online experience. So, what is there to play with that game? If they would have to redo the servers, and they already shut down the 5 servers for Metal Gear Online.
So, they did.
Yeah, it's been off for a while now.
God damn, that didn't even. Wow, I expected that to still be on for some reason. That didn't last long at all.
They to be honest, the Metal Gear Online like how long they last, it's not really that long. Like for 4, it didn't last very long either. In fact, maybe a year or 2 later, it closed down. Metal Gear Online. I guess it would be Metal Gear Online 2, and they just patched it out. Like you didn't even see it on the menu anymore.
Damn, I hate it. I don't understand why they don't at least just patch it to be P2P servers. It's not optimal, but like if you're gonna shut down servers.
Yeah. And I think for online 1, online 2, it's not, you can still, I think they do, the savvy modders out there have been able to get that one to work. But I hear that Metal Gear Online 3, the one that came with 5, that one is like PlayStation Home. A lot of it is just online. So if they didn't copy it at the time or whatever, then it's gone.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. All right. So I cede to Manny on this one. I agree with that. All right. Another question here from Mr. Dio. Is Bungie the first American game developer acquired by a Japanese company? It is not. I looked it up. Visual Concepts was acquired by Sega in 1994 to make sports games. And then Nintendo bought another one called Shiver Entertainment last year.
Yeah,
Well,
they've it has Japanese studios have bought other studios, but it's a little rare
Yeah, it's
because
rare.
a lot of times they just hire them out as external partners. Like Chris, the guys doing Metroid Mercury Steam, they're not owned by Nintendo
Oh no, Retro Studios
Retro.
is, but Mercury Steam is independent. Yeah.
Yeah, Mercury Steam is independent.
Yeah. Again,
What about
go ahead.
what about like Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and all those? Like,
I mean,
that's also
yeah. Yeah, that
Blue
does
Sucker
count.
Punch.
Yeah. So I guess Dio, you forgot about that. We almost did too. You know.
Well, Santa Monica is a PlayStation created studio, but
oh
yes,
yeah.
Naughty Dog and
Naughty Dog was acquired.
Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, and
Insomniac.
Yep.
Insomniac.
Yep.
all external.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those-
Those. So I guess it's not so rare.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's
And-
not.
I think it
And then
shouldn't be.
old-
Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry,
you,
Brett.
you have a lot. Like you have a lot of the nature of the industry is you're making and launching a product, right? So like, as much as I hate to say it, like we and I'll probably touch on this later, but like we have a kind of coming game collapse that is partially the consumer's fault, but it is partially an oversaturation of developers. Honestly, I'm seeing the same thing happen in the tattoo world, in the art world. Especially even more since AI has been kind of pushing in on this stuff. And you guys don't have to excuse me. I'm still on my bed, so if I'm all over the place, you know, I'm dumb, Brett. So, work with me here a little bit. But I kind of feel like damn, I think I'm losing it. I kind of feel like artists have kind of oversaturated their own marketplace too, if that makes any sense.
I mean, it's obvious they full of bloat, but you know, we'll get to that actually kind of very soon. But
it's definitely like a situation where the only way a lot of these studios think that they can solve a problem is by throwing bodies at it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even mean that. I just mean like you can't keep hiring and firing people. I think when there's this much talent in this little area, I think outsourcing and contracting, I don't think it's a bad part of a working system. I would rather have people successfully contracting than being hired and fired. And I guess that's not great because you don't get employee benefits and everything like that. But we can't keep up this cycle of like laying off a quarter of your company every time a game doesn't go right. Like, and the only other real solution kind of feels like it's going to have to be contract labor.
There's always a double-edged sword to that, because in the contract universe, you know, a lot of people like to talk about all crunch, and they don't seem to mention any of that when it comes to contract or freelance work. When a lot of freelancers, you know, myself and yourself, and you know, a lot of people of other doing it. Tony knows this shit very well. There ain't nothing, you know. There's a deadline, and they expect you to do it, and they'll hand it to you on Tuesday and expect it on Wednesday in the morning.
Yep.
So,
yep.
You know, nobody talks about that bullshit because they're not on staff, but it's still the same shit. People working themselves into working themselves stupid.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but I think at least like knowing your end date as a contractor allows you to prepare for it, right? Like just getting randomly fucking sacked because oops, your game didn't do well and they need to cut back 25% on staff to make the shareholders happy. because they have a legal obligation to make the shareholders happy above everybody else.
A lot of studios you're going to get into this when we get to the other questions, but one thing to realize is that every studio has a main team, and it may not you hear about, okay, some 5,000 people worked on so and so game, 2,000 people working on this game. There, I'll bet you that most of those titles, the actual the actual development team is only really about the 100 to 200 people, and all the rest of those people are hires to essentially fill in this, to essentially again, a body to fill to solve the problem. That's why I think I forgot what studio it was. The guys are doing Mass Effect, and they said that they got rid of a bunch of the people and they moved a bunch of people out of the studio to another studios, is because those guys were not the main team. The main team is the people that are designing the game. They're doing the concept art, the initial programming of the game. Those are the main team, and then they expand the team out when the scope gets bigger. That's how they sort of do it.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some questions for you, Brett. Go ahead, after you go ahead, Chris, say your thing, and then we're going to get to Brett's question. We're going to get to this whole staffing thing. Trust me, there's a question about it.
Oh no, just going back to the original question. I
Yeah.
think one of the earliest acquisitions was Namco in the late 80s bought Atari games, which is how they got Pac-Man and all that stuff. They bought Tengen and
That's right. Yes. Atari, obviously, American company. That's very true. Yeah. So, Dio, I hope you're listening to this episode. We just named like 6 companies. There's probably more, So, Bungie was definitely not the first one, and it won't be the last. I'm really glad you bring that up, Chris. Yeah, because Atari, that's a big one for sure.
Tengen.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple questions here, a lot of questions for Brett. So hope you're ready, Brett. Here's one from Dio. Brett, what are your thoughts on Bungie plagiarizing artwork? As an artist myself, I'm disgusted with the company, and I hope you're feeling better.
I am feeling much better this time. Thank you. It's been a slow upward trend instead of a slow downward trend, which is so much nicer. Also, yeah, no, I'm equally disgusted. Like I can't think of a case of the big guy punching down on the little guy any harder. Like, Bungie, you're a multi-million-dollar company with tons of supposedly really talented artists on your staff. What the fuck are you doing stealing art? I mean, I don't even mean like the following statement that I'm about to say in any way as forgiving or accepting of AI art. But in the age of AI art, you still stole art from an independent artist. Like, just fuck you sideways with a pointy iron dildo. It's just, it's maddening. And the fact that it happened so thoroughly just boggles my mind. And I guess, sure, some people might say like, oh, there's a bad apple in there. It's like, I think when like a comic artist gets no, actually that's not true. Like, you can catch a comic artist tracing, and that's just that comic artist. But like, there should have been oversight. Somebody should have caught this, even if it was one of their artists who was stealing art. Somebody else should have caught it. I mean, fuck, just reverse image search all of your art before you do.
That's part of the reason why I say they knew.
Yeah, I gotta say this real quick, man, just so Brett has context. Brett, when we talked about the story, I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. Chris and I were like, there seems to be a problem with the company itself. Like, the company culture is rotten, right? And, we weren't kind of sure if that was true. And then 3 days later, the fucking floodgates. I don't know if you saw the follow-up. The fucking floodgates open. Not only have they been stealing art for over a decade, but the company is toxic as fuck. Like, pushing workers and shit to just get things out, not treating them right. Like, the company is, so it's not one bad apple. The entire company is fucked up. Brett, it's bad when members of Bungie are saying, we hope Sony like just absorbs us into their company, so we don't have to deal with the management anymore. We want to deal with Sony's management, not Bungie's, because these people are fucking assholes.
You know, this reminds me of a interview that was done years ago, with people from Bungie, talking about the internal politics of the studio, and the story seems to be the same.
Yeah,
Not over the plagiarism, but of the way they treat their workers, and the way the original heads treat the developers of their games. And it's part of the reason why the budget, at least from what they say, that's part of the reason why the budget for the first Destiny was so crazy, because they had this internal policy of like, oh, we with time we'll fix it, stuff like that. Kind of like the way they said that the company Mass Effect, who does Mass Effect again?
BioWare.
BioWare works. The BioWare magic. You remember that?
Yeah, BioWare magic. Yeah.
It's they apparently Bungie was very much the same way.
yeah. So Brett, I don't know if you heard that last part where basically all these ex-Bungie employees were like, yeah, that company's toxic as fuck, and they've been doing far worse than stealing art for years.
No, I had not. I had not. I had been up to date up to the point where like they confirmed that they had stolen all of this. It sounds like marathon art.
Yep.
Not necessarily how far back it had gone. That's even more ridiculous. That's I kind of feel like the people who they stole art from 10 years ago have quite a considerable lawsuit on their hands, considering how successful that game was. Their games have been on the back of said stolen art, and I think that they are owed some money. And if by so any chance they happen to be listening to this podcast or ever hear a clip of this, go after their ass. Get them. Get your money, because they fucking owe you.
That's why I was like, when I heard about all this, and they just all of a sudden, as soon as that stuff with the artist came out, and then all of a sudden they're like, I think they were definitely waiting for. They're definitely waiting. They were hoping nobody would notice, and if anything did come to a head, they could easily, it could get paused in litigation. Like, in other words, the artist takes them to court, and then they just keep going and going and going until they burn out the artists.
Ooh, but see, here's the problem with that is these kinds of things, you hire a lawyer and they take a percentage of your winnings, and you get more ambitious lawyers the more the winnings call for. So if you can show the profits from the games, like this game has made millions on millions on millions of dollars, that is a hefty lawsuit that I'm pretty sure any lawyer would be willing to fight a significant amount of time for, without it's not like they're gonna have to drag the artist through court. And I think it's the same as when to do medical claims and things like that. Like you don't pay the lawyers anything; they just take a percentage of your winnings. And if they take your case, they feel confident in the winnings. So, it would be definitely a shark. Like the lawyer's gonna take half your money, but they're gonna sue Bungie for $100 million or some stupid shit like that, and then settle for 50, and you walk away with 20, and that's still fucking something.
Yeah, and then for this artist, it was that they also, I think, also would help bring attention to this is also Gene Park kind of interviewed her. Her at the time, like, it's crazy. Like she made this post on Twitter, and then literally, like, I saw this happen real time because I was literally up at like crazy o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I see Gene posting a thing. Oh yeah, this is the interview I did with blah blah blah. And it's like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, holy shit.
Damn.
But yeah, no, they've been stealing art specifically for Destiny since the beginning, bruh.
Yeah, it's like gun designs and all kinds of other things.
Yeah,
but there's a slight caveat on some of those designs. They were stolen designs, not done. Some of them were not directly stolen by Bungie, but they were by Hasbro. So to do like Nerf guns and stuff. So like some of them were most definitely like one of them was like a piece of fan art that they used in one of their ad campaigns or something like that is a real thing. But then again, that whoever the company that was doing the ad campaign didn't, in other words, Bungie didn't catch whatever it was they did.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
I guess
they're a little bit a little weirdly questionable because like some of them are just other companies doing these sort of silly, weird things, and I think maybe 2 of them are actual things that Bungie did specifically.
Okay. I mean, damn, it's a good thing Marathon looks awful. Otherwise, this could do a lot of damage to Bungie.
Yeah, listen, I made my prediction on the show, and I'll let you know what it is. Okay, you know how like Concord came out and then 2 weeks later it was just scrapped completely. You can't buy it anymore. I think Marathon is going to top that by not releasing at all. I think it's not even going to make it out. I think Bungie looked at Concord like, hold my beer, bro. I'm going to top that. You know.
Well, I have not seen a game more universally roasted before it comes out as soulless slop. Like
yeah.
Even from the Odin sleep, I heard whispers of the slop of this game.
And I gotta give you guys one of those brilliant Richard Bailey isms. This is what he said about Marathon. He goes, Marathon will be Marathon will be a game that Bungie won't finish. That'll be a marathon they won't finish. I'm like, yep, I agree with that.
I mean, I think that'd be a smart decision.
Yeah, it's like, dude, and Brett, think about it. This game was already getting bad press before the AI, the art theft. Before it just that just made it worse, and then all this shit that come out afterwards. Yeah, Brett, when you have time, look it up. It is juicy, scandalous shit. It is crazy.
Oh.
Like the floodgates open, man. It was nuts.
You gotta wonder how Sony's feeling about this.
Yeah, not good, Sony.
It was a studio year, you know. I mean, come on. Firewalk is gone. This is they're dead. Bungie's dead in the water.
Yeah.
There's no way they release this game or they don't get mothballed after this or chopped up.
You know what it is? It'll be like this. It's like this. Whoever is the head at Sony calling up the guys on Microsoft, like, oh, that's why.
That's why.
That's why.
Oh,
like you were thinking, like, man, they let these guys go, man. The power to getting themselves back. Yeah, like maybe the reason why they did let them go is because they're a bunch of scatterbrains.
Yeah. Young Savage, we're not saying we want the game to be canceled. We're saying it will be canceled. There's a difference. They will be canceled.
I'm saying it's probably better for their reputation if the game gets canceled than if it comes out. I'll say that much.
I agree.
But let me touch on something I want to be angry about for a second. So can I just have time not to be angry?
Go for it, man. Go for it.
All right. I know I've come back a lot on this podcast for Microsoft, right? Like, I have really enjoyed my Xbox Live. I found my Xbox console to be a solid piece of hardware that does me well and seems to crash just slightly less than my PlayStation 5, right? Like, and it's like got a less overall ugly design. I hate having to pay to be online on either console. But at least on this one, I get some good free games kind of thing. But I got to say, that $80 price tag bullshit and raising the price of their consoles pissed me right the fuck off. Like, to the level of, I think I'm done with consoles.
Oh, shit.
And, like, the accountability cast, everything like that. Like, I woke up from my Odin sleep to hear Microsoft has announced that they are raising all games to $80, and I am like, what? Like, I mean, Switch can do whatever the fuck it wants to do. That shit's stupid. But Microsoft stepping up and increasing the price of the system that they already have out with no upgrades or nothing like that, that is just, we need more money shit, and I am not fucking okay with that. And I want to say, for the record, I'm the bat for Microsoft, but fucking shame. Shame. Like, ring the bells, man, shame. That shit ain't cool.
No, you're right.
Because there's so many developers behind the scenes rooting for GTA to break that $100 price tag, so everybody else can fucking break that $100 price tag, and Microsoft is just doing its part. Fucking not Star Citizen,
Another grift.
Starship Trooper style. I'm doing my part. Like, god damn it, Microsoft. God fucking damn it, Microsoft. And you're charging more money for the consoles that people already have. Like money, like there's like money. Like, yeah, sure, we're all doing real well in the middle of this fucking recession. Why not just raise the price of the fucking consoles on people?
No, Brett, I'm going to add some more fuel to the fire, right? Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo too, record profits. We got to raise the price of our consoles, bro. Really?
Yeah.
You had record profits, and then here's the thing, Brett. This is our theory, right? Or some of our theory, not all of us. That the tariffs are obviously a factor, but it's really more an excuse to raise prices. Because think about it like this. If this tariff situation gets straightened out, you think they're going to drop the prices? No, they're fucking not.
Nope.
They're going to keep them that same price. You know? We could literally go back to the way things were. They're not going to drop the prices. Fuck that. You know? So you're telling me we're paying more for a console that has no new features at all. None. You know, maybe they'll catch the stupid people. Yeah, Brett, think about it. Imagine, you're that guy. $4.99 for Xbox. I don't know about that, bro. Oh shit, $6.99. I'm buying it now. No one's gonna do that. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
like I just like Microsoft. Are you just committing seppuku? Are you just giving up? Like, what is this? You're in third place. You don't have the ability or the right in any way to be the one that pulls this shit. No way.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck is up. So, like, as somebody who's stand Microsoft before, I'm taking my lumps and being like, yo, that shit ain't cool. Just throwing that out there. Many touched on Microsoft, and I had to be like, yo, I gotta eat my crow on podcast. Like, I slow roasted this shit. It's terrible, but I'm eating it. So, there y'all go. I'm not happy. Honestly, I'm just going PC. Fuck both these consoles. I'm sick of paying monthly to be online. Fuck that noise.
Listen, everything's coming to PC anyway. You're not going to be missing out,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's everything that used to make a console special back in the day, it doesn't matter. Everything on PC is better. PCs are more expensive. If you can't buy a PC right now because of GPU prices, buy a laptop. Gaming laptops are actually a good investment because of the integrated chipset. They can't use it for crypto mining, so they actually stay a reasonable price as opposed to some of the other graphics chips. I think we're finally coming down on the lump where people start being able to build PCs without the price of a small mortgage. So, and here's the thing. Here's what I'm doing. Your laptop you can stream all the power from a desktop PC to a laptop anywhere in your house. So a laptop, in my impression, it's not a bad investment because you're not really it's not going to really go obsolete. Same kind of with my Steam Deck. Like I can just blast that power to my Steam Deck, run it wherever I want. So like, especially when like I just got to get an upgrade from Google Fiber. Like my internal is running well over like I think it's actually like almost like if I might be wrong. I swear to God that shit's at almost 600 gigs internal. Like it was stupid fast. They upgraded me to some version generation 6 router, and holy shit, I've been getting download speeds on Steam of like 700 megabytes a second, and I know I have 1 gig. But like usually stuff doesn't actually download at 1 gig a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's great, and it's really kind of showed me that I think streaming is going to be it's more and more of a thing. So anybody out there who's also in my position and sick of console shit, consider a laptop. As a desktop guy all my life, I thought I wasn't going to like it, but I actually like it, and I think it's actually a little bit more future-proof than I originally thought it was going to be. So, I've gained my titled nobility, and I am no longer a console peasant.
There you go, good stuff. All right, let's move on here. Oh, we got some questions for one of our loyal fans, one of your biggest fans, Brett, Mr. Romudeath. He is here.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah. He goes, "Hey, Brett, glad you're back. The show isn't the same without you."
Oh, so happy
You know,
to be
which
here.
is true. So he got a couple questions here. First up, did you get to check out Expedition 33? If you didn't, what do you make of the game and its wild success? That question goes both ways. And also, does it give you hope for the game industry? Because it was made by a smaller team.
It does. Oh my God. Rami Death, thank you for asking me that. That is actually, I think, super relevant to something I've been kind of really wanting to touch on and I've been watching. I haven't gotten a chance to play it. It looks so gorgeous. And I know it was made by like a core team of 32 people. Actually, I just found out it's 32 people and a dog, not
Yes.
33. Um, so, but yeah, and obviously they hired outside contractors, which I think is a standard practice. But it's a bunch of Ubisoft employees
Yep.
who decided that they were, sick of trying to cut through the red tape, sick of their ideas being ignored, and they moved away. Which, oh my God, that speaks volumes. Number one, it says that we do still have talent. It's just trapped in a system that it's not able to get out of. And I think maybe we're starting to see that the triple A structure of some of these companies isn't lenient enough to let some of these things come out. I've seen smaller teams making really good games, especially in the last few years. And then looking back on, like, I just looked up before the podcast, like Skyrim had 100 developers on it. Oblivion had 250 versus like the 2000 on Assassin's Creed, right? And a lot of these are like games that, even the remaster of Oblivion, like, oh my God, I'm loving that. I'll leave that for a later time. I'm getting too sidetracked.
Oh, you got a question about
But
that too. Don't worry about it.
oh, excellent, awesome, cool. So Expedition 33, yes, it makes me super hopeful for the industry because there's clearly a lot of talent and passion there. It just needs to find a way to erupt to the surface, and I think that it's finally figuring out that some of these bigger companies, kind of like Marvel, I think a lot of people are losing faith in wanting to work for Marvel. I think a lot of people are losing faith in wanting to work for Ubisoft or work for EA or work for some of these big companies because their ideas aren't going to get made. They're too big. These juggernauts they can't move. And honestly, there's just a good chance you're just going to be fucking laid off unless you're part of that very core group. So it shows not only all of that, but something honestly I've been talking about on the podcast for a while that I think that turn-based games still have a place, especially that when that place is, because old Final Fantasy games, the idea was they were turn-based because they were trying to make the very most out of the limited amount of power that they had. And as we got to realistic graphics, that kind of fell by the wayside. But there's still all the aspects of incredible cinematics, incredible animations, all of these really cool effects. And I think Expedition 33, I think it really highlights all of the values that we can still have in a turn-based system because it just looks so amazingly gorgeous. And I don't even know what the story is. Like I would love to go in blind. Me and my girlfriend are fighting over which one of us is gonna play in front of the other one on that one. And I really want to know the story, but it just seems. Honestly, we're both gonna play, so it's gonna be who gets to go first. But because we're playing that shit on the big screen, man. Come on.
You have to.
Or I could play that on my new glasses. I got those things.
Nice.
But it looks so amazing, and it is so focused on visual flow and character design. It's supposed to be eye-bleedingly gorgeous, just eye candy. And I think that it's almost too chaotic to follow if you weren't doing a turn-based thing. And I think that in a lot of sense, QuickTime events have kind of made their way into that. So I think this is a nice rollback. I think it's found like, hey, we can add kind of a QuickTime event sequence to a turn-based vibe, so we can make insane things like. And don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy is still doing that to a certain extent, but I think that this shows that Final Fantasy didn't need to go live action to be modern. That being said, this last Final Fantasy was dope as fuck. All right, I'm not gonna deny that. Not saying that shit at all. Just saying there's room in this world for turn-based, and I think not only does this show that there's passion in the game industry, but that small teams can make really high quality games for even a smaller budget, and that turn-based games can still have a place in gaming today. So overall, I think just I'm over the moon about it. Just it existing. So, 3 thumbs up.
There you
Yo,
go.
Brett,
Yo,
as someone who's one trophy away from getting the Xbox Platinum, I'll tell you this: the story is even better than the visuals, and the combat is even better than the story.
Oh god damn!
I'm gonna say some triggering words for you. The combat is turn-based, but Souls-like.
I've heard that because you got parries and you got blocks, which seems like it's such a great natural evolution of the formula. It just seems it's one of those you see it and you're like, oh my god, why is this the first time anybody's thought of this? Have people thought of this that I haven't noticed?
No, the aspect, the actual active, like button press things in that game are not a new thing to RPGs.
Active time battles.
Well, no, like where you could press a button and you get an additional effect if you time it properly.
Oh, like the gunblade.
Yes, like the gunblade, or like Final Fantasy 6 or 3. They had some aspects in there that were there. Exposition, though, takes that to another level. Now you can actually counter and block things if you time a button press at the right time.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. And I'm super looking forward to playing this game.
Awesome.
It's great, man. It's great.
Game of the year, Carlos.
Okay, I mean, I think you just sold it for me. Honestly, I'm not gonna play these on my glasses, y'all. Like I'm not, because that way I could just keep that shit secret to myself and see it on big ass virtual screen. So
there you go. All right, got another question for you. This one might get you upset, so apologies for that. What do you think of Randy Pitchford saying that real Borderlands fans will find a way to buy the game if it costs $80?
I think he's about to figure out how few real Borderlands fans he actually has.
Uh-oh. Now, Brett, we were surprised by how many people bought the last fucking game. It was like 30 million people. It was like, what the fuck? I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of fans. And like, honestly, let's just be honest and talk real here. A lot of people are going to buy it, and it's going to make record profits, and he's going to get a bonus. That's because that's the way the world works. I hate it. I hate it here, but that's how it's going to happen, and that's how it's going to work. Now, less people will probably buy it, but they will make more money, and he will get a bonus, and he will buy a boat or a car, and he will put some sort of name or license plate that says "fuck you gamers" on it or something like that. It's just because we live in an awful, weird, psychotic world. We live in the upside down. But I still think that it is a bullshit comment that should rightfully piss gamers off. And I think that these people forget that goodwill is not a thing to be tread lightly. Like, you can slightly erode it and slightly erode it and slightly erode it until one day it's too fucking thin to stand on, and then everything bottoms out from under you, right? Like, you don't get the fucking warning that you think you do. Movie franchises that stretch themselves too thin or jump the shark, right? They think like, oh, we'll put out 1 or 2 bad movies, and that's fine. Like, oops, okay, we'll just make a good, bring back an old actor and everybody will forgive us. No, motherfucker, people are done with that shit. People do not forgive and they do not forget, and you can fool them once, you might be able to fool them twice, but they are not going to fucking forgive you after that shit.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, people are pissed off at him, so he's definitely not getting away with it.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Like, people will not forget it. Like, people will buy the game, but the seed of a kind of just one more thing on the Jenga tower of people kind of fucking hate you is placed there. And when the whole thing fucking comes tumbling down and you've got a Concord situation on your hands, don't come crying to us, be like, oh, well, why is nobody buying our game? Like, it's just, you know what? I guess we just all weren't real fans. I'm not doing it. And honestly, if it were just him, I think people would be more pissed. But I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, all 80 games are, or all games are $80 because that's what it's going to be. Sony's just going to announce it too, and all games are just $80 now.
The thing about Randy's comment is that he could have just left it. It's not under my control. And just
I know.
left it at that.
He said that part too. He's like, it's not my decision, and then proceeded to open his mouth and shove his foot into it up to the ankle. Like, I don't like, dude, just shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're right. You could have just said, I don't have any control over this and leave it. That's it. But no, he had, when I was a gamer, I used to pay $80 and I did this, and that to buy the games. Like, bruh.
Yeah, and it was fucking finished and bug free.
Yeah, he didn't talk about that part.
DLC or seasons pass. I would feel bad for you if you guys were struggling, but you're not. You're not. All right, and there comes the thing is like selling to more people too. Like, you can like make a deep niche game for a smaller audience and probably charge more money, and people will pay. Like, people would have paid $100 for fucking Baldur's Gate because it was made by Larry and it was amazing, right? But like, that's not the shit's going on here. You're throwing garbage at us and being like, pay $80 for it. Fuck you. I don't know if it's any good.
Also, Larian's, Larian's head said to say something about that too.
What did he say?
Oh, I think I saw that.
No, I didn't see this.
Yeah,
what did he say?
He said that his what he said was gross and disgusting.
Yeah, which it is. Which it is.
Yeah. So
damn, even other developers calling him out on that bullshit.
Well, you know those guys over there are all about essentially creating things that will make people happy and all that sort of stuff. It's like that's totally anti whatever they do over there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. That's crazy.
Me and Brian are hardcore Larry fans.
He said what you remember when they chopped him off the stage, and then he literally gave his speech again. At the
that's right. He walked up and gave the end of his fucking speech like a baller.
Yeah, on the following show to essentially say about development and everything. And again, what Randy was saying was essentially opposite of all that. Oh, well, you got to figure out how to. I'm like, that's all. It's Kaz Hirai again.
Yeah, get a second job to buy the PS3. Same shit.
Yeah. And Sony learned a hard lesson about that one, right? Nobody bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing I do think that like, look, guys, I'm looking at my crystal ball. Here's where we're going, and I'm pretty sure that these guys have talked about this while I'm gone. But I know GTA has been delayed. It's going to come back. It's going to come out at $100. It's going to upset the pricing structure. Everybody's going to raise the prices, and then gaming's going to have its second crash out. So it's the newest crash out since it's Nintendo. Like, we are in for a full on collapse of AAA gaming.
Thank you,
and
Nintendo.
It's coming fast, and it's going to be ushered in. First steps are Nintendo. Then Microsoft did their part, and then it honestly, it doesn't even matter because we know Sony's going to be going $80, but even if they don't go $80, GTA is going to go 100, and then they're going to have to go at least 80. God, if Sony goes 100, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
The only like solace I have with that, Brett, is that I think GTA is the only game I could get away with being $100. I don't think anybody else is going to attempt that. They're going to be like, let's raise the prices.
And that's why I say if Sony tried to go to 100, I'm gonna lose my damn mind because like they haven't followed up with the 80 yet, which is the only thing making me nervous. Because Microsoft's come out with it, they bid it. It'd be a good time for Sony to just be like, yeah, okay, fine, us too, right? So like they the goodwill or the harsh will is like the Band-Aid's already ripped off. They could kind of follow in its wake, kind of whisper by, but they ain't said shit. They ain't said shit, and that I don't like that. I don't like that because they were the first ones to go to 70.
They gave the comment that we are not going to change any pricing at this time. We have enough stock in the States in order to, like, in other words, they're not going to bother doing at least now, but we all know what's coming.
Not even the system, but I'm just talking games.
Yeah. They haven't said the game thing yet.
Yeah, not yet, but they have raised prices again for consoles across the world. So
yeah, I mean that's fucked up. But I will be very honest because, like, look, we all know Sony is going to be going to an $80 game price tag. I would be shocked if they did. If they sat there and went like, no, we're the budget conscious system at $70. Microsoft is the least. Like, no, they ain't gonna let that shit fly. It doesn't look good for their brand, right? Like, just branding alone, they're the more premium system. They need to, that's a perfect excuse for them to raise their price. They will, and they honestly, as much as I hate to say it, business wise, they should match their competition if they're supposed to be the premium brand. I hate myself for saying that. But y'all know it's true.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
You don't need to see them as the budget brand.
I hate the fact that we have, like, standardized game prices. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like different games should cost different prices. But you know how gamers are, right, Brett? Oh, $50. Brett, I'll tell you the story. This will fucking blow your mind, right? I had a friend that saw an Expedition. They're like, this game looks great. When they saw the price, they were like, oh, it must be cheap. That can't be a good game. They recognize that, like, oh, wait, no, I shouldn't think like that. But a lot of gamers think that. They're like, oh, $50, that must be cheap. They're the fucking reason why we don't have cheaper games,
Yeah, and advertisers know this too. And there's, it's PlayStation is a luxury brand, and it's kind of advertising directed as a luxury brand, and it damages that luxury brand to be cheaper than your competition. So they're at least going to need to raise the price to $80. My fear, and I don't really even want to say it's a well-founded fear, but my secret unfounded fear is they're not going to go with 80. Like, they're not going to match Microsoft. They're going to go higher than Microsoft because they need to be perceived as the more premium, high quality product because they do put out better games. They do have a better track record. That's just undeniable. They have the bigger, better audience. They're number two. They're superior. They make more money, except for Papa Moneybags, Microsoft over on Xbox's side. But, like, for all intents and purposes, they should be the superior system. So it's kind of important for that. So I guess I'm just saying, like, I'll be real comfortable when they come out and they say it's only an $80 price increase and nothing more, because it's going to be at least that.
It's fucking bullshit, man. All right. Another question for you, Brett. This one's from Alpha Chuck. He goes, welcome back. Hope the recovery is going well.
Thanks, brother.
All right.
It's going.
Yeah. He just wants to know, what games have you been playing during your hiatus?
What's weird is I've been too drugged up to play a whole lot of games. So that's been pretty tough. I keep trying and it's not happening. However, I'm slowly trying to catch up to some of these guys on Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I've been playing some Enshrouded, which they just had a big update in, which has some building in it, but weirdly enough, like, it's a game that has building in it. I haven't really bothered building because it's got a bunch of dope quests and, kind of a cool world premise and shit like that. So, like, I just took over an old abandoned base and I've just been doing quests. It's been pretty fun.
You can build crazy. You can build some pretty crazy buildings in that game.
Dude, you can, and it's weird because I love building, but, like, I've been so wrapped up in the exploration and, like, being a wizard and finding new spells and delving into the shroud to fight big fucking monsters and finding, new chests and shit. Like, I just keep coming back. I'm like, I guess I could build, but, like, I kind of want to go throw some fireballs and shit. So, for me, that's kind of weird. I'm usually the other way around. So I do recommend it. Shrouded it's a solid game. It's not a game for everybody. But if you in any way at all, even kind of partially like Valheim, definitely pick up a Shrouded. And I also read, bro, like I came out like I woke up and like fucking Oblivion was here. It shadow dropped while I was out, I guess. And so I'm playing some Oblivion again.
Yeah, you know, that's a perfect.
Like, honestly,
yeah, that's a perfect segue, Brett, to the next question. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the Oblivion remake? Does it rekindle any hope for Elder Scrolls 6, or what are you gonna, or are you gonna remain skeptical? So I guess that's a two-part question. What do you think of the remake, and what do you think of the prospects of Elder Scrolls 6?
I love the remake. I absolutely fucking love it because it's like the Dark Souls remake was. It's a true remake. They even left some of the fucking bugs in. There is a voiceover where somebody says a line and then you hear them say, "Wait, let me do that one again," and then they repeat the line. Right,
That's
like
funny.
they left that shit in.
That's hilarious.
I think in general they left the game as almost untouched as possible. I mean, the game as I remember them saying that the original game is literally running underneath the whole Unreal Engine, like, you know, visuals. So
yeah, it's so weird because, like, Bethesda's been saying for a long time their games, they can't run on Unreal. They have to run on whatever fucking engine it is that they use. And it's kind of seeming to show that this has proven them wrong. So I'm absolutely loving Oblivion. The problem with that, and I think it's having the same effect with a lot of people, is when you just put a coat of shine over something kind of like a classic like that, it really shows us how far we've fallen. Like, it really show like the depth of the systems in Oblivion are far and away more complex than the depths in the system in Skyrim. So you have a lot of these Skyrim babies, who've never played Oblivion, playing Oblivion and being like, what do you got? Like a spell crafting system? You got a more intricate alchemy system. You've got more intricate factions. Like, it feels like a step forward to them, even though it's a step backwards. And it was, made by a much smaller team than a lot of, modern games are. And so, that combined with Expedition 33, combined with, like Schedule 1, it's kind of starting to show that you don't need an assassin. I think Tony had mentioned, I'd seen Valhalla had a 2,000. I think Tony mentioned Assassin AC Shadows had 3,000 people.
Yeah, 2-hour credits.
Yeah, and that's just, at that point you have to admit you've got some bloat. You're spending too much goddamn money. And I think what it really showed me is that we're going in the wrong direction. And so, no, it doesn't give me faith for Elder Scrolls 6, because if Elder Scrolls 4 was better than Elder Scrolls 5, then I expect Elder Scrolls 5 to be better than Elder Scrolls 6, which means 6 may be another Starfield. And there's been so many people of talent who have exited the company, and so, like, the people that step into their shoes just don't necessarily have the merit, right? Like, you have geniuses who build studios, and then unqualified nepo babies stepping into their place that they just can't. Like, that's why Dragon Age is the way that it is, because they don't have the talent to make another Dragon Age game. Right? Like, it does look a lot like politics and whatever got in the way, but I honestly think that's the icing, and the cake underneath is that the talent isn't at that company anymore. And when you get a company big enough, yeah, like we said, where you forget everybody's names, it's easy for people of lesser talent to kind of hide in there and just suck a paycheck. And I've kind of said this before, and I know a lot of people have pushed back on me, but I think the success of these games with smaller teams and lower budgets, but still somehow come out as works of love that people gush over and are wildly financially successful. Like I think we're finally seeing where maybe the AAA studios have gotten too big and the AA and indie spaces are stepping in to kind of fill the void. It's a very, very interesting place. But it has me believing that I don't I think that the reason that they haven't put out Elder Scrolls 6 is because they know that they don't have the talent to work on Elder Scrolls 6.
Brett,
And
I don't know if you've seen this, but let me see if I get this right, because it's insane. More time has passed between when Elder Scrolls 5 came out and the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer came out than now and when that trailer came out.
yeah, because nobody was working on that trailer when it came out, and that's what leads me to believe like Todd will show fans a trailer and try and appease people when they get all up in arms and start demanding stuff. But he has no ambition on actually working on the Elder Scrolls 6 until he is absolutely forced to. Because I honestly kind of, in my heart of hearts, I believe he knows that's going to be the end of his career.
Oh shit.
He's not a spring chicken anymore. This shit takes a decade to produce, and the next one he's going to do after Starflop is going to be his second failure in a row. So, you know, that's the legacy he's going to leave, and I think he's rightfully afraid of that. And he's looking for anybody that could maybe help fix that. But here's the thing: the vacuum's been going on so long that now we're starting to get Skyrim likes or Scrolls likes, which is something that nobody's really attempted. Nobody's really tried to make a Souls game or a Scrolls game, excuse me, in a hot minute. And then we have Tainted Grail coming out, which, while not exactly the same thing, feels kind of very similar, right? I know Avowed was trying to be that, but Avowed can go fuck itself. Tainted Grail, that shit's where it's at. Also, small development team, very, very small development team. I think it's an indie development team. Been working on this for years. It's a passion of, it's a work of project, or it's a work of passion project. There we go. Boom. I'm telling you, man, they give me the good drugs. So that's another one up next to Expedition 33 that I am super, super excited about. I'm not sure if anybody asked me about that, but Tainted Grail looks fucking amazing. And I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. And that's, you know, there's a bunch of games that are coming out from, I wouldn't call them AAA studios, that I'm super excited about.
Nice. All right. Hold on. Question. Avowed was nothing like a Scrolls game. That's what Daniel says.
No, it wasn't. It set out to be, and then it realized halfway through it wasn't going to be, and so like we're gonna pull back and not do something as big, but do something a little bit more condensed and deep. And then they delivered something a little bit more shallow and kind of pedantic and pointless, stupid instead of that. But I think that was originally their intention, was trying to be a Scrolls like. But you're right, it was not a Scrolls like. And Tainted Grail is also only kind of a Scrolls like. I've heard it. I mean, I hate to say this, I've had it referred to as a cross between a Scrolls like and a Souls like. It seems a little bit more difficult, more slow paced, more set in a ruined, dark, dystopian, dark fantasy world. It doesn't have the coziness that Scrolls games do. But I think that people are going to start. I think that if Elder Scrolls 6 isn't good by the time it comes out, there will be things on the horizon that will be there to replace it, because the wolves are closing in. And I think they're realizing that Scrolls can't do what Scrolls used to do. And there's a market for that. And who wants to be the next Skyrim? So there's people aiming to make that game. but I don't think it's going to be Todd, because I don't think Bethesda, the core team at Bethesda, has enough talent left. I think enough of the old talent has left, and enough new talent is, I hate to say it, frankly, not qualified.
Probably are.
Or they have too much red tape in their way. But upper management does not seem capable of producing a good game.
Yeah, I could agree with that. All right, so that was the last Brett centric question. So let's get to the last two. But obviously, Brett, feel free to jump in. Actually, I do want to get your thoughts on the next question as an outsider, because
I ain't going anywhere. I'm sticking this bitch out.
Yeah. No, but your perspective might help us, because anyway, the question is from Alpha Chuck. Looks like Doom: The Dark Ages is the least successful title of the recent trilogy. While I have been enjoying it quite a bit, why do you believe interest in this title is low? So we actually tried to answer this on the Thursday show. We couldn't really come up with any definitive answers. Because for the guys who have played it, myself included, I fucking love it. Amazing game, and it doesn't have the game is just pure fun, no bullshit politics. Here's the game, let's kick some fucking ass, right? So there's a couple of factors that could be affecting it. Apparently, it's doing very well. By the way, the kiss of death. And Brett, I know you've been seeing this shit with Assassin's Creed specifically, right? Whenever you hear a game come out and say, we have 3 million players, this game ain't doing well. So when I saw that shit for Doom, I was very upset. Like, oh, fuck, here we go. What about the sales? Because Expedition came out, those motherfuckers said, we got 2 million sales. They didn't say players, they said sales, bro. So that made my fucking antennas pop. I was like, what the fuck? Because you know how I feel about engagement, Brett. I don't want to hear that shit, But so,
Yep.
So apparently the game's doing very well in Game Pass. I understand that some people may think that it's just more of the same. They're not really ready for that. And there's also, people are getting distracted by games like Expedition and stuff to give Doom a try. And also there were some people that didn't like Eternal, so that may be a reason. But we haven't nailed a definitive reason why this game's not doing. I'm like, this game's fantastic. Like for me, it's my number 2 game of the year so far after Monster Hunter. It's fucking amazing, and everybody, Rich is fucking love it. Adam, that's his game of the year. So I don't know. So Brett, from an outsider's perspective, why do you think this game isn't doing well? And then obviously we'll get the rest of the fellas in here.
From my understanding, a lot of people seem to think it's lost its identity. And I'm not sure if it's people feel it's because it's changed hands. And I think it's been with Bethesda for the last couple releases, so I don't understand why they feel that way. I don't
same
know
core developers too. It's the
company.
same, it's the same guys that the actual people that made the game. It's still the same guys that made 2016 and Eternal. Same guys that made this one as well.
The only difference is the
music.
musician.
Yeah, that's the only one. But
okay. Yeah, I've heard people complain about that. Also, the glory kills, I guess.
Yeah, what did you hear?
There's less glory kills and more just kind of like you just hit people like a bumper car.
Kind of. They changed the glory system because the developers felt that the glory system in the old games stopped all the action dead in its tracks. But now it's just like you do a quick thing and you move on to the next one, which is kind of cool, but it kind of lessens that cinematicness of it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I agree with Daniel because it feels more like Doom than Eternal. Yeah, because you're just there, grounded, kicking fucking ass. You're not doing fucking somersaults and shit like you were in Doom Eternal. It's just a solid ground-based game. So again,
it's a little bit more slow pace. I think it's a little bit more slow paced. I think a little bit of. I think people are just pissy that it's also on Game Pass. I've heard a lot of weird hate coming out of it, seemingly from just being owned by Microsoft. And I'm just like, I don't feel like that's. I don't understand why people are acting like that's changed. I'm equally confused. Honestly, I think it's probably just Doom fatigue.
Is it Doom fatigue? Because the last game came out in 2020. It's been 5 years.
Has it? Damn, man.
And before that, it was 2016, so it was 4 years. So it took even longer for us to get here.
You know, yeah, and I have no fucking clue. I don't know, man. The game looks dope as fuck. It looks like pure fun. I don't understand what's going on.
All right, so you're in the same boat as us. We tried to answer this on Thursday. We couldn't come up with a fucking reason. But
No, can't figure it out.
but I also use it as an example because I got into mini arguments with some people because I called out Assassin's Creed for say boasting about its 3 million players, and someone had said, "Oh, you're only getting on its case because you want this game to fail." I'm like, yeah, I do want it to fail, but I'm calling out the bullshit. Now here's a game that I want to succeed, and I'm calling out the bullshit. 3 million players, you're not selling well, are you, buddy? You know, that's upsetting, but it is what it is, man. But Chris, I don't know if you've, have any thoughts on this, because again, you and I both try to answer this. We're like, I don't know, this game looks dope.
I'm not sure why it's not selling well. I see a lot of people blaming Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's available, but I mean, a ton of stuff is available on Game Pass. It still sells well. Expedition 33 is on Game Pass.
Yup.
It's still selling well. So that to me is not an excuse. I'm not sure the numbers on Steam, and I saw somebody made a chart. I mean, it's not it's not even 500,000 on each system. Steam was like 400,000+ maybe units. PlayStation was even less than that. It's shocking how low it is. But yet the Game Pass seems it's almost like 2.4 million active players.
Insane,
right? So it's either that people are reluctant to spend the money. It could be a combination, like what Brett said. Maybe people are just like trying to spread out their dollars. So it's like, yeah, I have Game Pass. I might as well just, I'll play Doom on there, but I'm not committed to it, to own it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Can't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Again, you guys should check out that Thursday show, but it's a tricky one. All right, and the last question of the night, Mangolicious. I like this name. He goes, hey, bros, a big fan of the show. I have a question for Tony. He also has a question for you, Manny. He goes, this is kind of bleeding into my work, but I want to help this guy out. What was the Apple Maker keyboard that you saw at CES? And is it coming out anytime soon? I was trying to find it and I couldn't. It's called the Apple Maker Dynatab 75X. It is out. It's basically a really cool keyboard that has like LCD screen on top of it. You could program it to say different things. Really quiet. Actually, check this out at last CES, not this year's. It is out. It's actually, if you go to tomsguide.com, we actually did review it, but it's like a slightly different model. It doesn't have the display on it. It just has like a kind of recess for you can keep your phone or whatever on there. But yeah, the Apple Maker Dynatab 75X. It is available now. It's been available. And I checked it right before we went live. It is still available, so go check that out. Hey, here's the last one. Also, I never got a shout out from Manny from when I met him at Comic-Con 2022. I'm kind of salty about that. Joking. Manny, you're not giving this guy love?
What? Hey.
So yeah, I'm like, damn, he's still thinking about this from 3 years ago. God damn, bro.
It's like, oh man, this
motherfucker. For him, that was the day the day he met you was the greatest day of his life. But for you, it was Tuesday.
Manny has created a supervillain.
Oh no, he's gonna become like the dude from what's that movie? The Incredibles. The kid that
he's gonna become Syndrome.
The guy becomes Syndrome. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. But he goes, joking aside, I love the show. Keep up the great work and keep it real. You already know, man. We always keep it real around here.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Good stuff. And that's going to do it for us, people. Another good show in the books. Brett is back. Very happy about that. And yeah, what do we have to plug? Manny, what you got?
I mean, it seems like it's a bit long in the tooth, but it's still out on Skybound site. So why don't we pull out the old thing here?
Oh man, bring out the comics.
Right. Bring out these comics here. All right, come on, pig, get out of here.
The cat.
Yeah, he's getting into stuff. So yeah, right now on skybound.com, you can get a special cover for the issue 21, the silent interlude, which is a fully silent issue of G.I. Joe, written and drawn by Larry Hama. So, yep, that's on there. You can get two different versions. You can get the one with the cover dressing, which is the title. That's what that's called. And one without, which is the plain art. And it's got, new art by Kari and myself. Right now on the field is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number, what is it? Number 9, it would be. And that's the Michelangelo issue of a 4-issue series of covers that Kari and I have done. Also, stay tuned for more nostalgia property stuff involving Kari and myself. Quite a bit of things.
All right. Yo, Carlos, since Rich isn't here, you want to plug the Coalition stuff?
Yeah. Make sure to check thecoalition.com. That's the coalition with the K.com, where we're going to be posting our reviews for The Walking Dead's very own Dead City, which is the Maggie and Negan spinoff on our show I Am Negan with Mr. Adam Vale and Richard Bailey Jr. and myself. And you'll catch them every Sunday. And you can also catch other shows like Probably Power, which doesn't seem to end.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps going. You can catch Dana, Rich, and Gary Swaby on that. And shout out to Adam. He's working. He's working like double overtime with the TV Terminal, on YouTube, and it's also posting on thecoalition.com, where you can catch Adam's reviews on Mob City, I think.
Yeah, Mob City.
The Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us. Last of Us just had its season finale, I believe.
I think that's tonight, right? Yeah. So make sure to check it out. See what Adam's thoughts are on. And I think Rich is on that show too, so you'll get to see his thoughts for the first time. Maybe he'll get one of these. Let me see.
Get that trash out of here.
Or not. You never know. That's why you need to tune in to see which one it is. But yeah, the TV Terminal and thecoalition.com with a K. Shout out to everyone. Catch them up.
Good stuff. All right, guys, we're out of here, man. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Join the Discord. And check us out on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Peace out. Also, forgot to pimp my GoFundMe.
Oh, yes.
Tony, link in the comments.
Yeah, I'll link it again. Yeah.
If anybody happens to have extra money in this economy, which I very seriously doubt, I am still out of work, so I am not above taking free money.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll help you out with that. Yeah, hey, listen, you got to take money where you can, bro.
Look, man, I'm not proud of it, but here's where I am. All right.
There you go. All right, and of course, Brian Manjoma.
That Kanye West song is a Kanye West song.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. Hey, Brett, here's some good news. They canceled the Wheel of Time.
Oh, thank God. Oh.
Yeah, that's trash.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but we could talk about that off air. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday. Later.
All right, peace.
Cheers.